so much to say. Oh, we're live. Are we live?
Yes. And we have 0 viewers.
That's okay. Because they'll go back and watch it, so we should start talking now.
Oh, wait.
Am I right?
Wait, hold on. Starting.
Yeah, it's going to be a delay. There you go.
Oh, this is going to be... let me mute this.
Yeah, you got to mute that. Hey, people. It's Mallory and Brea here of Reading Glasses Podcast. I did a live thing the other night. I'll just tell you. I did a live thing on Alpha. Do you know Alpha?
I don't know Alpha.
Okay. It's like Geek and Sundry and all those things became Alpha. Yeah. I did a live thing on Alpha, and a bunch of people were like, "Oh, Brea, I know her from Reading Glasses." And I was like,
"That's the weirdest thing."
I was like, they're like, "I think I recognize her name from Reading Glasses," which I thought was very nice. It was super fun. I enjoyed doing it. Hey everybody, a lot of people coming in the room now.
Yeah, finally. Hooray.
Yay.
Hello. Oh, look at all these lovely folks.
So what our plan is.
We're twofold event today.
Twofold event tonight.
We're going to do a quick unboxing because we have a lot of packages from folks.
Mm-hmm. And some gifts, some books. I feel like I did a bad job with this last minute lipstick.
You look great.
Okay. Some gifts, some books that were sent to us just that, through various companies and stuff that we thought were cool.
And as you can see, we're both wearing our awesome Ask Me What I'm Reading shirts.
Oh, no, we have to back. Oh, you're tall enough.
We'll just do the whole book.
I have a very long torso, though. For my height. It's
weird. Your pickup line?
Wait, look at it. Because you're much taller than me, but on this couch we almost
5'5".
Oh, okay.
I just look bigger. I'm like a peacock. Literally. So yes, we're wearing our awesome Ask Me What I'm Reading shirts. If you want to order them, you can go to Maximum Fun Store. People will ask you what you're reading. It's really cool.
No one's asked me what I'm reading.
Oh. I think I tell people what I'm reading too much for them to ask.
You just walk into a place.
I started off.
You walk in somewhere and you're like, "Hi, I'm Mallory. Do you want to know what I'm reading? Here's what I'm reading."
Because we're really carrying the book. I'm like, "You want to hear what I'm reading?" I get really excited.
You're like, "Hold on, let me talk about what I'm reading before you tell me your name."
Yeah, I don't care I don't care who you are. I want to tell you about my book. All right, well, let's start off.
Let's do some unboxing of things. These were already in a box. I don't know where the box went.
You didn't have. I brought them to you. Unboxed.
They were given unboxed, but they had a box at some point.
Yeah.
So okay, who are these from?
These are from our friends over at Little Brown. I talked about this one on the episode today. This is the book. It's a anxiety person's year of doing scary things.
Oh yeah.
And this is another thriller that Little Brown sent us. Sometimes we get fan mail and people wonder how we read things ahead of time. It's because one of the best things about being a book podcaster is people send you books before they come out so you can read them.
Yeah, and this one even has, they even put a cute little note in here that has stickers and stuff on it, which is very nice. It says enjoy and has a sticker of a shark and a cat and Beauty and the Beast. Belle, did you see that? Did you ask for that?
Nope. They just know us.
They just know us well enough to know to put sharks and pizza stickers on there.
I mean, that's our wheelhouse.
Yeah, it's very cool. So we got these 2 books, which are cool. This is Michelle Sachs, did we already say?
Yes.
And then I didn't open this yet, and I thought we could open it on the show.
This is from our friends at Tor.com. I've actually already read this because I got a copy.
So look at how cute this is. It's called Finding Baba Yaga by Jane Yolen.
And it's a novel in verse. So it's like a poetry collection, but that tells one complete book length story. And what's cool about it is so on this little name tag it says Jane Yolen is a phenomenon, a poet, and a myth maker who understands how stories can tell us new things. We are lucky to have her. Neil Gaiman. If you get a Neil Gaiman quote for your book, you're fucking badass. So I'm gonna open it because this is the packaging. How the fuck do I open this? It looks like Baba Yaga made that herself.
It really does. I don't know if I'm gonna break this little string. Okay, cool. It's been
also careful of that. Also, and just like our last live stream, folks, we are live streaming from my house, which, as you know, is filled with cats. So apologies in advance for any cat intrusions that might happen. I can already see one of my cats has just heard the word string and is coming over here. Very, very pretty book.
Beautiful book, Finding Baba Yaga, Jane Yolen, Tor.com. This is such cool packaging. I'm very impressed. What beautiful paper. My mother, who loves paper products, would just die for this paper. Maybe I'll save it for her, although I ripped it apart. So that's pretty cool. What else did we get, Mallory? You want to be in charge of that one?
Yes. We got this box of books of stories by Richard Rosenbaum, Ear in a Jar.
That sounds up our alley. Ears in jars.
looks like it's just weird short stories by Richard Rosenbaum, which is very cool.
Very cool. One for me and for you on that, right?
Yes.
And that's his book. Like he sent it to us, which was very nice of you. And then we also got these shirts.
Yes.
Which, by the way, I had already opened them, and my fiance saw them in my office and said, "What's up with those shirts?" So he was like real interested in them. And I was like, "Wait a second, we'll see." But yeah, 2 shirts.
They're Harry Potter shirts.
These are from. Who are they from?
1138
Clothing.
1138 Clothing. You can check them out on Instagram.
But what's weird is I didn't recognize that they were Harry Potter at first.
Yeah, I had to tell Brea that these were Harry Potter. Because look, he's got his little scar.
Harry Potter, he's got a little scar on there. Can you see it? And he's like, there's something above him. Someone is going to know what that is above him that we don't know, whatever that is. And then at the bottom, it says, what does it say?
The Master of Death.
The Master of Death.
It's the Deathly Hallows symbol.
And they're cute because they're little baseball
guns. I'm going to have to work really hard to keep this clean, but I'm very excited.
You know how Mallory feels about white shirts. She is racist against white shirts.
I think all goths are secretly just really messy eaters, and that's why we all wear black.
That's true. But thank you for all these things. People are coming to the room. Good to see all of you guys. Yay. We're glad we're doing it again, too.
Yay.
If you guys like it, we're getting close to 500, so we could justify doing another one. 500 reviews. Because we are doing this because... Do you want to talk about
it? Oh, yeah. We hit 400 reviews on iTunes. Thank you all. It really... I know we talked about it on the show a couple of times, but we cannot overstate how important it is to get iTunes reviews. It makes a difference in the kinds of guests that we can get, the sponsors that we can get, the ads that we can get. It really, really makes a difference for us. So thank you so much for all the over 400 people who have reviewed Reading Glasses. It really means a lot. So
yeah, but we're like, we can see 500 in the distance, and we're coming for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're getting there.
Okay.
So we got...
So as people know, look, if you're tuning into this and you don't know who we are,
how weird would that be?
People are saying, "Oh, I want them to tell me what's on that shirt," but pieces of the Deathly Hollow, maybe. I don't know. Okay.
I only wear black because I have black cats. Kate, that's very smart.
Mm-hmm. So if you're a fan of the show, you know that I enjoy snacks. I have snacks on the other side of this computer that you cannot see. And so
I think you should show them. We don't ever get to show people things. You get to see the type of snacks that Brea eats.
I'm almost done with these.
Dark chocolate covered almonds.
And then I have another chocolate bar in my bag. And then I was just drinking this soda because I found it in my house. But I don't normally drink sodas very much. I
forgot to make a drink.
Yeah, we were kind of running behind, but
today's a busy day. But so Brea got this very large box
of chocolates. Oh my god, these things start falling out.
There's so many chocolates.
So thank you for sending me all these chocolates.
This is the one that you can have. Also, I also got to say, because I don't know if Brea will do it, the person who sent this to us was like, I hope Brea can eat all these things. It's not, Brea doesn't just eat dairy-free chocolate because she's vegan. She's also lactose intolerant.
I am very lactose intolerant. So while this is a great gift,
this bar
I can have, and I'm going to eat it probably on this podcast. So if you poisoned it, you guys will get to see me die on a live stream. How about that?
I will save you.
But they all look really good, and we know a lot of people who eat these chocolates.
Yeah.
We can give them to Sean. We can
next game night.
This one has clearly been opened already. Mallory.
No, that wasn't me.
Okay. Well, anyway, these look really, really rad. Thank you for these chocolates. It's a very good gift that everybody sent. Thank you for all the gifts. And if you guys want to send us stuff, you can send it to Maximum Fun, and we will eventually go pick it up.
Yes.
And thank you for all the stuff. It's really exciting.
Is that it?
I think that's it.
All right, that's it. All right, we are ready.
Lulu is staring me down like I did something wrong.
My cat.
Oh, she wants this box.
She wants that box really bad.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to open this up. This is, we'll just talk about what chocolate this is. Cherries and pistachio, Mika chocolate from Tease Chocolates. Looks like pretty good jam, and I enjoy when there's cherries and things in there. Ooh, and it's small batch from Peru region, and it's 77% dark chocolate, which is a good percentage. I like a 75 or above. I really like an 80 or above, but it's hard to find. Anyway, should we talk about the book we're talking about?
Yes. So today we're talking about a novella called Gods, Monsters, and the Lucky Peach by Kelly Robson.
Sean, if you see us looking, this is where
when you guys reach 500 reviews, Sean has to join for the next book club. Oh my god, we're gonna make them. We're gonna do it. This is gonna be great. So yes,
this is very good. You want to buy it?
I'm okay.
Okay,
but thank you.
It's very good.
So yeah, we're talking about God's Monster and Lucky Peach by Kelly Robson. It is published by our friends over at Tor.com. And yes, let's start. So so the folks who read the book might have known this is like a sci-fi post-apocalyptic, pre-apocalyptic time travel eco thriller. It's a lot of stuff in this novella, which is amazing. It's very when Brea started it, she was like, "There's a lot of stuff to learn." And yes, this novel is very front-loaded with information about this world. You like hit the fucking ground running.
But the idea was you picked it because it has some fantastical elements of fantasy.
Time travel for you. Monsters for me. I thought it was a good mix, and it was a novella because, you know, it was easier for everybody to read.
Which I think works out really well. You guys can let us know if it works out well for these, if we do these novellas, because it was, at the time, I think $1.99 or something like that, which was really,
I'm taking a photo of this for Sean.
Really nice. Oh, yeah. We're taking a photo of them.
I'm sending this to Sean live.
But having like a cheap novella we thought was really cool because then, you know, you could get through it quickly. Yeah. You had like a month to do it, but yeah, more accessible. The problem is I was just telling Mallory when we sat down, I was like, oh no, I've read 3 books since then because I read it right when we announced it, which was before you guys knew.
I took notes.
So Mallory took notes, which is
what a surprise.
Super helpful.
So first off, I love this book. I thought it was really, really fun. I have lots of thoughts about the ending, but let's, you know, sort of, I'll wait till we get there. Yes, it was very, very front loaded. And it was like the first couple of pages I was reading this book and my head was kind of spinning because I'm like, whoa, okay. So people can have limbs that are machines and tentacles. And then we're in a post-apocalyptic thing, but we're time traveling. Like, I'm like,
maybe like about to hit this bulb with your head.
Oh boy. Okay.
Well, I don't tell you.
Thank you. So I was just like, oh wow, a lot of things are going on. But once you get into it with all of the characters, I think that was my favorite part about this book was every character in this story is so different and they all have completely different agendas and they all think that they're right.
Yeah, I mean, that's the interesting thing about like science fiction when it's even like all science fiction, I think, but especially stuff where they're building a world is that there is always a lot of front loading. With things. Lulu, you want to come up here?
Lulu likes to eat things that aren't food.
She's not mind it. Yeah, so I mean, but I think she did a good job. The problem is with a book this small is I was like, ooh, she's got to get through this stuff really fast. But I feel like she did a good job of that. I will say my friend who is a therapist texted me or called me and said, she was like, oh, she keeps talking about billable hours and it's really stressing me out because she's a therapist and has to deal with billable hours all the time.
Yes, the world, that was what I was really amazed by with this book is it's, you know, it's a novella, but it felt so fully realized and that I feel like Kelly put a lot of thought into like the economy and like what people wear and like just like even people's sexualities and the way like personal relationships. It was just like, it was such a perfect slice of this world in a small, like it felt like a bigger novel. And by the time I got to the end, it was just like so pulse pounding. I was like, oh my God, there's only a few pages left. It's so small. How is we going to resolve all this stuff?
And we're getting mixed. People are saying, some people say they really do like that. They really did like that it was smaller if you scroll up, but, and it was easy to read. And some people want things from their library. I did get it from my library. We had a physical copy, but I got it from my library because I wanted a digital form and I was able to get it there, but it depends. I bet a lot of libraries, I don't know. They all my Los Angeles Public Library carries the Tor novellas. I think they always carry them. Sometimes I request some, but yeah, mine does. I'm curious what library didn't carry it. And that just might be something you can ask your library about because they're small and easy and I like Tor. But anyway, all right.
So going forward, my favorite character was Hamid because I love that like the only thing he gave a shit about during this entire story was like hanging out with his horses.
Oh yeah,
that was sort of I love that he's
a horse boy.
He's a horse boy. So, you know, fuck boys get horses. And he was super bummed about it. And I kind of love like he was the only character who got a great ending because they're like trapped on this world and he was like, well, got my horses.
He's like, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, it was like abandoning me on a world that's only cats and books. Like I'd be okay.
One thing I really liked about it, and I think I talked about this in our notes. Oh, there's like do you have it pulled up? The notes about it?
Yes.
Yeah. But anyway, but one thing I really liked about it is the way she divided the chapters, because I was really interested in the past world.
Yes, and the way that they were, I love that, you know, it really got to show time travel from so many different viewpoints.
Yeah.
You know, where you were like seeing these people and you're like, it's like watching an episode of Ancient Aliens. You're like, oh, I totally get how these people would think that they were gods.
What is Ancient Aliens?
That, you know, that History Channel show where they're like, the pyramids were built by aliens.
And it's true?
No.
Okay. What is that? It's a fake show on History Channel?
It's people who want it to be.
Oh. Cool. I should watch that. Yeah. So I like that it was like they went back and forth because I was interested, and that's like an interesting perspective. Is if you were in the past and all these future people come back and they look wild, like they are truly wild.
They have one lady has 6 tentacles. Also, so a couple of questions that we would love to hear your opinions on. First off, would you travel back in time, Brea?
Do I come back here? Wait, you don't even have to answer that. It's yes either way. Either way, even if I get stuck there, I'd really consider it.
I wouldn't. I'm not one of those people that like I'm not an early adopter of technology. I'm not even like a middle adopter of technology. You know.
What kind of phone do you have?
An iPhone 6S.
Okay. Well, that's not too far behind.
No, but I just, you know, I get nervous about things.
Yeah.
Who's gonna feed my cats?
Yeah, no, you would not. I mean, if I had absolutely no other ties right now, like if I was like,
well, a lot of the characters in this book are like that. So.
Yeah, which I think is really interesting. I don't know. I mean, also it's like what are the safety precautions? Because most time travel going backwards is not gonna be very healthy. You're gonna end up with like. Did you ever watch this show? Cholera. There was a TV show called. It got canceled, but every time they'd go back in time, they get out of the time machine and they would just barf because it smelled so bad. Because time travel. Because like the past is so stinky.
Well, there was just like literal shit in the streets everywhere.
Yeah.
Yep.
I would not be for it.
Deodorant was not invented.
I wouldn't be for it, and I wouldn't be for the subjugation of women.
There's some people say yes, some people say no. Would you get tentacles? Would you get like the biotech?
Oh, yeah. I mean, this was interesting. Well, I love that. What's her name? Who wasn't Kiki? Kiki.
Kiki was the one who chopped her fucking legs.
Yeah,
off.
She chose to get that shit, and that was a dedication, but also tells you a lot about her character.
Yeah, she's hardcore, man.
But she's hardcore because she almost just did it because she was just like me. I can also do that. Like I feel like it was almost a fuck you. I'll do this too. Yeah. Not a I'm joining the ranks of you. Like it felt almost like a like a fuck you a little bit.
And I had to remember while I was reading it, this is obviously very far in the future where stuff like that is a little more common. Like if somebody chopped their legs off today, different circumstances.
But they chop their legs off and they get like 6 other legs, like crazy leg.
You want some? Come on down to Brea's Crazy Leg Shack. You want some crazy legs?
We got all sorts of legs. You want windy legs, spindly legs. You want long legs, short legs. Look. I'm not opposed to it. It seems really rad.
Apparently, you're enterprising and you're.
Well, I like that I like that men could like grab onto things with those legs, and then she'd like be hanging there, and I was like, that's pretty fucking rad, you know. But Kiki's weren't like that. This is the problem with reading the book 3 books ago. Hers were different, and now I can't remember what they were.
Well, she had just started, so they gave her like trainer legs.
Oh, that's right.
I think she started with only 2.
See, that's a cool futuristic thing. Is that like, yeah, you get there and you like get whatever kind of crazy legs you want, like, and like you have to get used to them though, because that would be true. You would have to figure out what you want.
I don't know why crazy legs make me laugh so hard.
I would be down with biotech. We already do some biotech.
I know.
Look at those glasses on your face.
I know, but I can take. That's the thing. Wow.
You can take those legs off.
You can take those fucking legs off.
Take those legs off. I mean, I don't think it'd be like.
Yeah, but my eyes are still here.
Yeah. Okay, but if you, I get what you're saying. I'm trying to think of like, okay, it's also like what, I mean.
Yeah, so Kiki had the goat legs. That was the thing by the time they were there.
Goat legs, that's right. They were goat
legs. They started her off with the trainer legs and then they gave her the goat hooves.
That's pretty rad though.
I guess.
You're not excited about goat legs? What animal body part would you want?
I would want a prehensile
Or
tail.
stick. Go on. What did you say?
I don't think anybody heard that. Oh, that's what
They heard it.
That's the, I would want a prehensile tail because then I could hold the book up and then do things. I would be into that.
This prehensile,
and then I could
you
pet
can
my
move it
cat.
around however you want it.
I could pet the cat with my tail.
Yeah,
that I would do. But then it's not taking anything away.
Is it? That's true. Is it mechanical or is it?
Either way.
Yeah. You're cool with it.
What if it was like a weird possum tail?
Yeah, I'm not down with a possum tail actually.
I know.
Because it's a rat tail.
Yes.
A possum tail is a rat tail.
You folks I don't know if you were privy to the fact that Brea very briefly had 2 baby possums living in her bathroom.
On purpose.
That was fun. We'll tell that on the podcast sometime. That was fun.
Oh, they did hear it. They heard me say.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so
I thought there's a lot of really interesting themes running throughout this book, and I think one of my favorite ones was this, it was a really great metaphor in my mind, for millennials versus baby boomers, with Kiki's generation and Min's generation, is that they both think that they're right, and the way that they go about things are right. And really, the only way for all of this stuff in this book to work is if everybody's working together. But it showed, what the bad things that come of people not working together. And that was what was amazing during the mission, is that everybody had their own agenda and everyone was selfish in their own way and kept getting them kind of charging forward and doing things without consulting with everybody is what brought the mission to ruin, basically.
Yeah. I mean, so the only difference I think, well, not the only difference, there's a lot of differences, but you have what they call them, the plague babies and the
fat babies
and plague children.
Plague something. Yeah.
Which plague children, they grew up all underground, impoverished without any sort of health or anything like that. Health stuff. And then the fat babies were the ones that actually were able to, prosper and survive. I think the only difference is now, if we're talking about millennials versus baby boomers, is that probably both would argue that they grew up in a time where they're the plague children.
Yes.
I mean, I was going to say the millennials did, but that's just because I'm closer to millennials. Yeah. I think also baby boomers were no, I had a hard time growing up.
Yeah, but it's that kind of thing. Well, I had to walk up hills.
Yeah.
Both ways in the snow.
But the fat babies, I think the fat babies all acknowledged that they had it easier, which is why she felt like she had to get rid of her legs.
Yes.
Right?
I think that's part of it, but they were also more angry at the generation past for fucking up so hard. And now and I think that, that's what millennials are. They're really mad at baby boomers for fucking up the world. It's like a Mad Max sort of thing. Now they are the ones who have to deal with the consequences.
But don't I think all generations think about that about the generation before them?
Maybe. I don't know how the baby boomers felt about their parents. Maybe
the greatest generation.
Yeah.
Isn't that what the one before baby boomers is called? That's a fucked up name.
That is fucked up.
That is fucked up. They got to have that name.
But I love that whole idea, and I think that's the sort of the strength of a time travel story like this, is you get to see the consequences, and you get to see it you get to see it in both large ways in this book and also tiny ways, Min's neglect of herself. It has such grave consequences.
Yeah.
And she's just working as hard as she possibly can, but she's not thinking about the fact that her neglecting her health to the point where she can't function affects the entire fucking mission.
Yeah. Yeah. Which we all know people like that. There's a lot of people like that.
Nice.
By the way, people agree. They say,
yes, 100%.
Yeah, the fat baby is closer to millennials because they've been handed a shit world.
Yes, I think that what's interesting about this book is that Kelly, she has faith in the reader. She is not she's not spoon feeding you any of this stuff. And that was it's not the kind of, it wasn't the kind of book where I could read leisurely in the tub with some bourbon. This book makes you sit up and pay attention. And,
which is funny.
Kelsey, I saw Fat Babies and I was like, what?
Yeah. She doesn't bother. And this is any sci-fi book that sets up a world, you're going to have to just jump in and be ready for that world. She just had less time to set it up, but she was willing to take the leap that we're all going to just follow along.
Yes, she really has faith in the reader. And I feel not all authors do that. They waste a lot of time. having that conversation, like, as you know, Bob, we're here on this planet. Yeah. Like, Kelly Robson's like, no, you guys are all fucking smart. You're going to catch up.
Yeah, I agree. I have that problem. Any book I read, like, I'd rather it just be a little bit complicated at first, and it does make me sit up and pay attention, and I'll be reading it for bed, and I'll be like, no, thank you. I have to wait till I'm more awake, which I think is, you know.
I think there's books that are for before bed reading.
And someone says that they had to read the first chapter twice.
Yep, I can totally see that. But I feel like once you got a couple of chapters in, you're like, okay, all right, I'm starting to get this. And then you kind of are like off.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite parts about this is I feel like we get a lot of post-apocalyptic thrillers that are like this, where you deal with like, the apocalypse and what the world is like, but they don't deal with like the nitty gritty details of how it got there. And I feel like the environmental stuff is something that a lot of authors don't write enough about.
Yeah, that's interesting, because I feel like we're all aware that climate change is happening, and we have so many post-apocalyptic books, but for some reason we're still like, I don't got a problem with zombie books. Like, give me a zombie book any day of the week. But we're still like going like zombies or whatever, plague. But, there will be, and there is going to be like, global warming stuff. Global warming is happening. It is going to be some sort of end of the world as we know it. So I like that she focused on that and talked about like what they did when global warming happened. And like, this is like way past all of that shit.
Yeah. And it was interesting to see a small aspect of it, just like rivers, that's what this whole book is about.
And someone said post-apocalypse.
Yes. Yeah, the environmental side Amber says the environmental side made it significantly more realistic to me. Yes, and that just like, because it just felt like it's like this could happen. People don't think about how rivers affect things, how like the very, very like specific aspects of the environment get affected by this stuff. And so it was really cool to have them go back to these two super important rivers that are important ecologically, but also sociologically and historically. Banshee. Sorry. Cats.
Also, I like someone in the room, someone says peaches growing in Calgary as a sign that there's been climate change, which is really interesting because it's not something I would have even picked up on. Because
it sounded like Brea said book warming is happening.
I may have said that. Who knows?
I'm going to get you a book warmer, a book cozy.
Oh, I had this thought on the way over that we should, because it was like, oh, it's almost cold in LA. It's not quite.
I know, it dropped down below 80 degrees, and I was like, time to get the sweater out.
I was like, oh, we should get hoodies for our podcast. Wouldn't that be cute? I know, it would be cute. So, because I carry hoodies everywhere I go.
Hoodies and snacks.
Yeah, hoodies and snacks.
So, also, one of my favorite parts about the book was the eco-tech, which I think authors should go more into, just like the controlling the weather and all of that stuff.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
I thought that was so smart and really cool.
Yeah.
Because can't they do that in China now?
What?
They're like, they can make clouds? Something?
Room? I probably
should have looked up an article on this before. But that kind of stuff I found really, really fascinating. That like them, like, the fat babies, like the eco, like the little like above ground civilizations that they ended up in, and like how they control the weather, and like, that stuff I found really fascinating.
Well, and I think look, we have to figure out something, and obviously we're not going to stop polluting, and it's just going to keep warming up, so we're going to have to do something like that. That's exactly what's going to have to happen.
Oh, like 100%. And so it was interesting to me what parts of the world got repopulated.
Oh yeah,
because they're the coolest parts. Iceland and
because those were the ones that weren't like so burning up.
Do you think they still celebrate the book flood in Iceland in 2,000 years?
Maybe if they've kept like the true Icelandic people. Icelandic?
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say Icelandians.
Iceland, that's definitely Icelandic.
But what do you call like a person from Iceland? Icelander?
Maybe not. You think I was in Iceland last year? I should.
Well, the true Icelanders doesn't seem right. The true Icelanders will still celebrate it, but maybe not the people who have moved there.
Also, all right, let's look at...
What else did we want to talk about? What do you guys want to talk about?
There were a lot of really interesting ethical points of view in this book, and that's what, like, each character, I think, represents, like, a different part of ethics. Like, who do you identify with? Like there's Kiki, who's very humanitarian, like Min is very environmentally focused. Hamid is obviously very animal focused, and Fabian is like very results, like cares about, dealing with his company and like progress and stuff. And they all, again, that's what like I thought it was really interesting in this book, that everyone is a little bit right and everybody is a little bit wrong, except maybe Fabian. He kind of sucks, but like everybody has you're like watching these characters and you're like, oh guys, if you just work together, everything would be fine.
Right, which is maybe what she was trying to say for. Yeah. I mean, this is maybe. Should we say this is the thesis of the book a little bit, in that she's trying to say like, look, we all have. Because this is the way life is, right?
Yeah, everybody has that one thing that they care about, and that's the big thing for them. And then they sort of don't. I mean, it's being a human. We can't all care about all the causes at once, or we'll all go fucking crazy.
I know. Which cause do you think you care most about? The 8 cats that live around here?
Seriously, I'm the kind of person that's like, if I die in this house, I hope that I die in a way that my cats can eat me. Like, I hope I don't die in the shower because they won't be able to get in.
A lot of people die in the bathroom,
I know. So I always leave the door open.
Because when you feel sick, you go to the bathroom and then you die in there.
So I always leave the door open.
When you go to the bathroom?
Well, if Alan's not here. Because then they can eat Alan. As long as there's one human out here that they can eat.
Are you and Ellen planning on dying at the same time? Just in general? What happens in that scenario?
It's our apocalypse scenario.
I see. In the middle of the night, if I go to the bathroom, I let him sit up and close the doorway, but then the cat follows me in, and he like runs in as fast as, this is not about the book, as fast as he can, and slams the door open, and it always scares the shit out of me, because he just like runs in, and it's just like he powers his way through the door in a way that sounds like basically someone is trying to get me. And it scares me really bad. Okay, what else do we talk about? Not important. You don't want to know about what happens when I go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, do you?
Very interesting. Although I will say the other night, I had to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, and I discovered that Baratheon and Lula open. Oh, hold on. I think 2 of the cats are going to start fighting. They better not.
I don't think people can hear them.
No, well, you're going to hear them in a second. Baratheon and Lula figured out how to open up the food cabinet. Because he's so big and strong, he opened up the cabinet, and she's so small that she slipped in there.
You don't have they're working together. Yes. They're like tag teaming it.
They're like raptors. It's horrible.
Wow.
Okay. But anyway, what did you think of the ending of this book? So there's the whole premise of this company that goes back in time, and I thought we actually right before the show was starting. Brea and I were talking about how it's sort of like how space travel is now, that like a lot of the most big money that's going into space right now is for tourism.
Yeah. So that was what was interesting about the time travel in this book. It wasn't, so it's just like time travel in this book. You can go back in time. The alternate timeline collapses once you leave.
Yes.
So it doesn't have, there's no butterfly effect.
About whatever happens, this timeline's going to collapse. But at the end of the book, Fabian leaves with the priestess, and it's kind of left open-ended to, like, right. Do you think the timeline's going to
Was it ever established, like, what that meant that the timeline collapsed? Because it didn't mean the people in it.
Yeah, just everything disappeared. Like, I'm assuming just nothing. No void.
So, can we just, like, do a scenario? So, like, if we're living right now, someone comes back in time, we meet them, our timeline collapses, or what happens to us?
I think everything just disappears.
Nothing. So it's like you die.
It's more than death. It's like
everything. It's more than death. What's more than death?
Like everything just everything and everything around you ceases to exist.
But that's just what death is, real. Well, I mean, depending on what you're.
If you died right now, you would still be there as a physical body.
Oh, okay.
That would prevent my cats from eating
subjectively, though, like I think that's sort of what happens. So it's like subjective death. But that is kind of fucked up. Oh, okay. But the people are still living in their own. See, this is where it gets a little like the morality is a little like fucked up.
I think the timeline doesn't collapse. I think that there are just multiple dimensions in this world, and then they are like left.
Every time they go back to the past, they start a new dimension.
Yes.
And there's people, I'm with that theory more, because alternate timeline, that makes sense that there's like, someone comes back here, there's 2 timelines going, rather than someone comes back here, this one goes, and then they disappear, and this one just disappears. That seems so fucked up.
Yeah, I'm reading, people said that they
Do we think
Version
it
of you
collapses?
disappears, but if Fab went back far enough that before you left, the person is still there. Yeah, I don't trust what the Crystal says. I don't trust what the company said about the time travel is true. I agree. I think that it's just a corporate line.
Yeah, I mean,
to make you feel better about things that happen.
Right. This is the like Elon Musk company where we're like, it's gonna be fine or whatever. Like they're just like, not that Tesla's like sending us back in time, but you know, like some big like huge corporation.
Yes.
Who just doesn't give a shit about what happens. So
what do you
think there's alternate timelines just existing now?
Yeah. So what do you think happens? Like my big concern at the end of this book, I was like, okay, Hamid's happy because he's with his horses, but Min and Kiki,
we can all be so happy.
My big concern was like Min and Kiki, like, are they going to be able to charge their legs? Like, are they going to be, now that they're in this like not prehistoric, but like
do you have to charge them?
I don't know.
I mean, if I was inventing legs, I would make them run off of like human like kinetic power.
Mallory, I have the best invention ever.
I invented legs.
Brea's crazy legs.
Come on down to Brea's crazy legs. Or you can buy all sorts of legs. I got multiple legs. I got a single leg. I got one big pogo stick. It's a leg.
One pogo leg.
Not a bad idea. Think about it. There's a lot of inconveniences when I think about it, like stairs. But other than that, pretty cool way to get around.
Yeah, I think they might run off of human energy, like
your heart.
Energy. But I feel like if you're in an ancient society, they're just not going to have like the materials and the technology needed to repair. Like I'm imagining like a Gilligan's Island situation where they're trying to repair these legs with like coconuts and stuff and twine.
I don't know if they have twine.
I know.
They went really far back.
I know.
Although I don't really know. Like, they have you know some stuff going back there. What does everyone else think?
In this post-apocalyptic world, I assume they use sustainable energy, not fossil fuels. Yeah, well, there was a scene where men needed to service her legs. The satellites were still there that was powering the legs. Like I just feel like after a while they're gonna need something to take care of those legs.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna.
It's a very leg-focused conversation, guys. But yeah, this is what I was thinking about.
But to go back to your original question, do we think it collapses? And I don't think it does. I don't think either.
No, I think the corporation was lying.
Yeah. Is there a second one of these books now?
No, but Kelly should write another one.
Kelly could tell us this question.
Also, we had a fan question from someone who wrote in today who is, I think they're in New Zealand and they can't, like the time is going to be weird. So they wanted to
watch
know,
it
later. What's the underlying theme? How does all of it connect together? Do you think all the elements stand together on their own? I think everything is super connected because I think the elements of all this story.
Wait, what is this question? Sorry.
Does all of this connect together? Is there an underlying theme, or do all of the elements stand on their own? I feel like this book is the perfect metaphor. Like the characters of this book and the elements of this book is a perfect metaphor for like a healthy environment. Is they all these elements have to work together. You know, you have like the idea of risks and like the way that consequences of like have rippling effects from like on the small scale to a large scale, and how different generations have to work together.
Yeah, and you got that more than I did, which is probably just our difference in reading, that I'm just like, and what about the new world they're going to? And what about the technology? What about these, like, what about all these
out her leg shack?
That is definitely the thing, like, in these kind of books, I will, like, gravitate towards when I'm like, oh, and then there's a person who, you know, she got rid of her legs to get rid. I will, like, go towards those things, but I like your thinking. The bigger theme is,
we don't all fucking work together. We're going to die.
It is a better theme than just like, isn't technology cool?
Yes. Well, and even it was interesting in the other timeline, or not other timeline, but in Shulji's world with the, like, it's just him and the priest. If like all the people had kind of started to work together, communicated with each other, then they wouldn't have been like there's so many situations in this book where if people had worked together or communicated together, there wouldn't have been issues.
So, yeah, it's true. So it's just a book about lack of communication.
And working together, and, you know, always like making somebody else an enemy.
Aren't all problems really just stemming from lack of communication?
It's true.
I don't know why I felt like I had to do a pose.
Therapist Brea.
But it's true. That is like, I mean, It seems like a very simple thesis, but I do think that is.
Well, I think it's a really common thing. I mean, you see it in books and movies all the time, but how many times have I talked to friends that have been like in some sort of scenario and I'm like, have you tried talking to that person? And they're like, I can't do that.
Well, it's also the thing where you have a conversation with someone in your head and you're like, you've had this full conversation and then you go to them and you say the thing that you've been waiting to say and they're like, yeah, okay. And you're like, that's not the conversation we already had in my head. The conversation we had in my head was false.
Yes.
It always is false.
Yes.
Because that person isn't even there.
Well, it was interesting to see how many different groups of people here, like even like on the small scale of the mission and the larger scale of the fat babies and the plague babies. And then like on the bigger, like the Lucky Peach mission versus the, the ancient community, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Not foreign, but just different people, like automatically assuming they're the enemy, even though everyone sort of had the same goals here. If they just all worked together.
That's very true. And it is like, there is part of me that like excuses the ancient community from like, look, they don't understand this time travel bullshit and people are coming in here and they like, I can't remember what he kept calling her, but like, they look crazy different.
Yeah, I thought she was a monster. Like the first opening paragraph was like, there's this monster that I have to kill.
Yeah.
And it's just men with their legs like trying to get out of the peach.
Right. But understandable. But still, I mean, but yeah, it's weird that they automatically assumed that like going back in time that they were going to be violent or whatever. Yes. Although not all of them assumed it, I guess. But.
Yeah, so that's like, I think it's so, it was so many different, microcosms, macrocosms of consequences and fear of the other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Fear of other people, even though that if everyone had just kind of worked together, and it was like, that was the frustrating thing, was Fabian was communicating with this priestess, but not in a way that's helped anybody.
No, and that part was very frustrating because I was like, man, they could really just work this shit out real easily if that communication would have gone a little bit more smoothly.
Someone just said something great, that this book can be different depending on where you are in your own life. And I also think that this book is different depending on where your own ethical lines lie.
I think you're right. So if you're like the person who's like, the eco person, or you're the person, the business or the owner, like it's definitely all going to be very different for sure. And feel free to toss in questions or things you want to talk about into the chat room.
Oh yeah, I love this thing. I like when Shulji thinks about if Min was human and then was created into a monster. Like, he wants to go through the same thing. He wants those extra limbs. That was so funny too, and was such a great way to show the themes of this book. Is at the end he was like, this book literally starts with the two, with him seeing her and them being afraid of each other, and him thinking that she's a monster. And by the end, he's like, I want those fucking legs. I gotta go to Brea's crazy leg shack. I gotta get me some of those. Like, it was so interesting. Like, as soon as he saw her as not a threat anymore, he wanted what she had. And they could have bonded over their love of crazy legs.
I mean, that's just a lesson we have to learn in life. That if you can see what you have in common versus what you have different, you both want wild octopus legs.
The true uniter.
then you can always find something in common with people. I feel like we're losing light over here.
Oh yeah, we are.
Because the sun is actually going down, but I think it's okay.
That happens.
Every day. Every
Kelsey says, I'm used to reading an unlovable jerk who redeems himself. So the fact that Fabian was really as terrible as Min thought was so surprising and really cool to me. Yeah, I kind of love that. Where I felt the same thing. I was like, man, this guy's gonna turn it around. He's gonna be great and save everybody. And nope, he was just a shitbag the entire time. And he was trying to. I love that little part where Kiki completely went over to his side and he was trying to recruit her, and then still they all ended up hating each other anyway.
Yeah, that is interesting because you do often see the bad guy sort of turn around, and he didn't. But I feel like we saw the other characters sort of turn around, so we had those character arcs. Yeah. So we have them learn lessons where we didn't necessarily.
It was interesting because they were just fucking forced to.
Yeah.
But I think that's it's interesting because it's such a great parallel for what's going on in our country right now, and just the world is to the point where we're going to be forced to fucking deal with this stuff.
Hold on, I gotta find your soapbox.
Oh, I'm already on it. You can't find it because I'm already standing on it.
I carry it with me everywhere I go.
That's why people think I'm so tall. I actually had this. I just got back from Dragon Con, and I was hanging out with some writer friends of mine, and one of my friends was like, Mallory, I always think that you're this really tall person, but you're not at all.
I do think you're way taller than me, but you're only 3 inches taller.
It's I have big hair and I'm really loud.
Wow.
I'm like a peacock.
People have come up to me who've never seen me in real life. And they're like, you're so much smaller in real life. And I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. Actually, I'm smaller on your TV where I'm this big.
Tiny Brea.
Just like this big on your television. In real life, I'm 5'2".
But anyway.
Okay. But no, I think you're right. No, keep saying what you were saying. I was not. I was making a joke, but like you were right.
And it's also interesting because I feel like sometimes we read books and we're like, God, if you could just force all these people in a room together, they would get along. And like by the end of the book, these 3 like ethical standpoints, these 3 different people from different generations and like different everything, were all sort of forced together.
But do you think the only reason? But by the end, it's basically a crisis that makes you have to give up your like. You're not giving up your ethical or your morals or anything, but you're having to
you're forced to
compromise.
See it from, you're forced to see it from other people's perspectives.
But do you think it always takes a crisis for us to be able to see that?
That's why everyone should read this book. And they like that was the frustrating thing to me, is that Fabian wins in the end. At least we think so. Like he gets his priestess and he's in the Peach and off he goes. Or no, he's in the rescue vehicle.
No, he takes off.
Yeah,
but. Is that really a win if you're hurting all the people in the process? I guess it is.
Chelsea just says, I love Kiki's development, and I really feel like she was such a realistic portrayal of a younger person in this situation, because she has all these feelings and she really wants to believe in something, but she keeps like she doesn't have all the information yet because she's younger, and she doesn't have all the life experience yet. So the more information, like she gets some information from Fabian, and she's like, oh, well, maybe I'm on this guy's side. Oh, wait, well, maybe I'm this person's side. Maybe I'm just on my own side. And I think it was such a great portrayal of what a lot of people in their 20s, me, because I'm 85 secretly, go through, is that, you have all this passion and you want to make a difference. But as you learn more about the things that you're dealing with and the corporations you're working for, or like the ideas you're representing, you start to shift a little bit.
Yeah. And she did come in with kind of some strong viewpoints, but I do feel like she changed. She definitely did change over the course of the book.
Yeah, and Kate said, I thought Min had most personal growth. And I think it was such a great scene where she's finally starting to realize like how neglecting herself, even though she thinks it's her own personal thing, she's like, it's my body. But because she's on this mission with people, it affects everybody. And then like that moment where, because she decided to like wait till the last second to turn back around and go back to the Peach, though the drone, Fabian used the drone to kill those guys, that was the first moment where she was just like, oh fuck, yeah, my choices affect other people, the things I do in this world. Oh, Brea, you're gonna get chocolate pants. That's who should sponsor us.
I was born with chocolate pants.
Chocolate legs.
That wasn't a good joke.
Brea's crazy chocolate legs. Yeah, and that's what I think that is. I mean, that's something that bothers. I'm a person with really bad anxiety, so I'm constantly thinking about other people like too much. I'm like too considerate, and so I'm always thinking about that and wanting people to be more considerate. So it was like watching Min just sort of like refuse to think about other people and refuse to think about other people, like even though she's begrudgingly liking Kiki more and more.
Is that what you say in a job interview when they're like, what's your biggest flaw? And you're like, too considerate. Is that what you say?
No, what do I say?
You know this question? Do you know the question I'm talking about? I've only been to like 0 job interviews in my life, but I feel like this is
interview in a long time.
Or people, it's like, what is your biggest flaw? And people are like, I'm too on time, or like, I'm just too nice. I'm too good of a worker. I just work too hard. Like, where like the real answer is like, I drink at work. Right?
I'm a lazy piece of shit. Yeah.
Like, I steal.
Well, my problem is I'm so considerate to the point where it gives me anxiety, where I'm just like, oh my God. Well,
but then what? How do you get through that? I have started.
You get through that by having a partner like my partner, who's like the most like Alan is like Buddha and is so calm about everything.
He's very zen, yeah,
and he balances me out. Okay. I'm constantly.
What is he's like? You need to just quit worrying.
He's like,
about
now nobody cares. No one is even going to think about that.
No one's thinking about it. It's very true. No one's thinking about anything
Except for me and
but they're
men
worried.
now.
You and men.
Men's thinking about it.
Can you think of any read-alike books for this? Because I was trying to, I was explaining the book to somebody. Maybe I was just talking to my friend who's a therapist who read it also, but who may be in the room. I don't know. There's not many, and Tor is doing a lot of books like this. So if you like this book, I would say go and find other Tor books. Request them from your library because I know your library can get them, especially in ebook form. Because I've gotten all of them through my library. Even though sometimes they send us digital ones, I'll get them from the library if I haven't read them yet.
I'm looking through my books right now. I'm trying to think of.
But Tor has a lot of these big world creating. That's a category of books. World creating.
Now it is.
Books, but yeah, I'm just like, it's hard to.
I mean, Annihilation a little bit
because they're going to like a different world.
My sci-fi section's very small. This is your expertise.
I know, and I actually had a lot of trouble with it. Of course, like I get so like caught up where I'm like, no, that's not the same because I get like too detailed. And
I think what we would read-alikes would be time travel books, eco thriller, like post-apocalyptic eco thrillers.
Which I can't think of any post-apocalyptic. Like specifically eco ones.
The water, the gatekeepers, oh fuck, hold on. There's one.
And then also ones where people can yeah, the fact that it's like post-apocalypse, it's a little past my like normal reading.
Kirsty Logan.
Oh, someone says libraries can't get them for 4 months. Wow, that's a long time. Yeah, I straight up got mine through my library.
The Grace Keepers.
I don't know it.
There's a book called The Grace Keepers, and it's it's way more literary fiction than this, but it is a world in which it's like it's a post-apocalyptic world where it's like Waterworld, like the world is mostly water, and they're dealing with life like that. But it's much more literary. It's not as like, and it's not like a thriller. It's a good book though.
Wow, this is interesting. I didn't know this. Tor has a delay on when ebooks are available at the libraries. I didn't know that information. I didn't know. Good to know. So someone says Oryx and Crake. Margaret Atwood book.
I have not read that.
It's literally, I was looking at it earlier because it's right behind the computer right there.
Dream Quest
in your Margaret Atwood section of your books.
The Dream Quest of Velvet Bow, which is another
Tor.com book, which I actually haven't read, but I did get it from the library once. It expired. I did not have actually time to read
Wind Up Girl by Paulo Balaku.
I don't know. Oryx and Crake though for sure, because Oryx and Crake, I don't know, Oryx is a good one because it is post-apocalyptic and it is a weird fucking world she creates. And I don't remember too much about that book because I have a brain like a sieve, but like I do remember it just being bizarro and like a lot of weird stuff is going on.
By the Wind Up Girl. I haven't read that, but I've heard really good things.
Okay, people are saying that that's a good comp, which is interesting.
Oh, we will check that out.
So did you guys have any more? Not guys. Y'all. Did y'all have any more?
We're working really hard to cut guys out of our
say guys. That's a you thing.
I know, it's a
I took
thing.
From you.
It's a fucking Boston thing.
It's also I moved to California and from Texas and said y'all, and people be like, where are you from? And like, so I got to where I quit saying y'all, and now I'm bringing it back.
You should bring it back.
Anything else y'all want to talk about? It can be book related. It can be reading glasses related.
We have 8 minutes left.
It can be what we want the next book to be. If we do this again, if we make it to 500, we're open to whatever.
I
think I scrolled up on your thing.
Oh, no worries. Oh, yeah, you're right. Hold on. So if we do this again, The Hells.
I don't know The Hells. Is that a book?
The Hells in this book.
The Hells? Are there Hells in this book? This is how long ago I read it. Literally.
I feel like I don't remember this either. Can someone... Oh, Paul, you're a wonderful person.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you,
Paul wants to know, is there a date when Mallory's book cover will be released? Oh, that's cool.
I'm sitting on news about that, and I cannot tell you. Hopefully soon. That is all I can tell you, but I'm very excited about my book cover. I can't tell you why.
Oh, the Hells, I know what they're talking about. The Hells are the underground places where they lived.
Yes. Okay.
That's really cool. That was a real cool aspect to me.
Again, this world, it was such a fully realized world, especially in like 250 pages.
And also, you didn't deal with it. Like, I would read an entire book that takes place in the underground worlds. Like, I want to know what the fuck is going on there. Did you read the Silo series ever? The Silo? It was not called Silo. Yeah, Silo series, where there's all these like underground weird worlds in a sort of a post-apocalyptic time. If you haven't read these, it's totally worth reading.
And the Habs were above. Yes, it was the Habs in the house.
Yeah, which is that was a cool aspect that like the world is created. When people create these big worlds, I assume they must write a lot about various things, and then they take a lot of it out, or they just have the world created.
Someone says Silo was so good.
Yeah, it was so good. That was like, ugh.
Also, people want to know about your YA comic. I don't know how much you could, guys. We're so like we have so much cool news, but we are not allowed to tell you.
Thank you for asking. Someone asked earlier today, and they're like, "When can I see it?" And I was like, "Hopefully next year."
Publishing is so slow,
and I'm still writing, and so we have to draw it. It's going to be a while, so but I will hopefully talk more about it at some point. I've talked about it on other podcasts and realized I shouldn't have. So, speaking of other podcasts, I'm on Switchblade Sisters today, which is a Max Fun podcast. Talking about a very brilliant film called Basket Case.
Oh my god!
Also, I talk about how I save money a lot.
You're a thrifty lady.
I talk about bring peanut butter sandwiches to film festivals, so I don't have to pay to go out to eat. Anyway, so I talk about that kind of stuff.
Also, very exciting. This hasn't been announced yet, but you can probably guess which site we're referring to. Literally, right after this podcast, we're doing a crossover with a podcast with a book website that we love very, very much.
Yeah, literally, we're doing to do that in like a few minutes.
Yes.
Paul, Basket Case. It's a weird movie.
Paul is
Have you rewatched it recently? Because I hadn't watched it, and I showed it to my friend Cassandra, and she was like, "This is wild."
Another comp by is Time Salvager by Wes Chu. It's environmentally destroyed Earth being sustained by time traveling organization that pillages the past. Yes.
This is definitely, maybe we should do an episode on this where we talk about sort of like eco-future, that's not the word. What would you call it?
Futuristic eco-thrillers.
It's complicated.
We do have, we haven't even announced some of the sci-fi episode we're doing with some very exciting authors. We have so much cool stuff that we can't tell you guys.
So much cool stuff.
Someone guessed. I can't say it. We can't say it.
Mallory's bad at keeping secrets.
Yes.
So, and I feel like we had one other thing. I just did a podcast called The Process, which you should check it out. Yeah. That should come out at some point soon.
We did a crossover with Guilty Pleasures.
Oh, yeah. We're on Guilty Pleasures podcast talking about
our pets.
We talk a little bit about books, but we mostly talk about
none of my cats came to visit. I'm kind of bummed out about it.
Go get a cat.
You guys
want to see a cat?
You guys want to see one of my cats?
Someone looked up, use the Kindle dictionary function while using this book. The Kindle dictionary function really is very helpful sometimes.
Yes. Okay, hold on. I'm going to go get a cat.
Oh, someone has been reading the 5th season, and the creches are just schools, so you assume that's what the hells were? That's really funny. This season's great. I actually haven't read the last.
Brea, I got your boyfriend.
Mallory's getting cats. Oh my god. Bring on those cats. And thank you guys for joining us. If you like this, we have a good time doing it. It's fun for us. We could always do another one if we reach the goal of
where are my fucking cats?
What if all your cats that's the eco thriller we've been waiting for. All the cats disappear. Sorry, I'm reading what you guys are writing. Lula, relaxing on Mallory's shoulder. But yeah, if you guys wanted us to do another one of these.
Ow. Oh, that hurt really bad.
We like doing them, and we're together anyway, and we read anyway. So there's a cat.
This is my soulmate.
She looks very relaxed.
Lula. My girl.
And yeah, I said if we get to 500 views, we can 500 reviews.
We'll do another one of these, but we'll also I think we'll probably do something else, some kind of exciting thing.
Yeah, we get a lot of packages too, so these just happen to be the ones we got in the last whatever. So I think doing what would be cool is to do like an unboxing of like one of the book boxes we get, because we get so many big book boxes. I think that could be really fun. Yeah.
And we're also doing We're still figuring out the library thing that we're doing in September, the library card thing.
Oh, yeah.
We're doing some kind of exciting library card thing, but
it is September right now.
I know. Well, we're figuring that out very soon.
I understand that this is your kind of book club. Mine too. I joined a book club recently, and it's really hard to make it there because okay, well, thank you guys for joining us. It's 7. It's almost 7. We have to go do somebody else's podcast.
Say hi, Lulu.
Say hi. Lula's, I feel like the one who's like, she's the most dodgy.
Oh,
you know, she's like,
she's afraid of. She hates everybody besides me and Alan.
Yeah.
Although there's a couple people she tolerates. Yeah. So let us. I hope everyone liked this. We had a lot of fun doing this. People are requesting hoodies.
You're welcome.
And I will say, if we do another book club, we'll probably, because we did Madeline or Cersei, we did this one, so we'll probably pick a completely different genre. Maybe we can do next month. We'll do a spooky one for a Halloween.
Could do that.
And everyone's interested. We could put flashlights underneath our faces.
We don't have to change the decor because this house is already so fucking spooky.
Yeah, I have a really. I live in Me and Alan live in the Addams family house, which is funny because we're being gender swapped, Gomez and Morticia, for Halloween.
Oh, very good.
I'm being Gomez because I'm the short, affectionate one, and Alan is the tall, quiet, sexy one. Oh yeah, so maybe we'll do a spooky October one.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of really cool guests coming up. We have a lot of really cool episodes coming up that we're very, very excited about. We have a lot of really cool news for both Reading Glasses and for me and Brea. So stay tuned. We cannot thank all of you enough for supporting the show, for hanging out with us while we did this live stream. It really means a lot. And again, please, if there's a lot of hacks, there's a lot of different ways to support Reading Glasses, but if you want to give us a review or rating on iTunes, I know some people hate iTunes. I understand that, but seriously, and we can't control this, but it is just something that is a rule of podcasting, and a lot of people look at how many reviews that we have. So if you want to help us out,
and if you leave a review and you put your favorite,
what book you would gift to somebody,
what book you give to somebody, or what you're currently reading,
we'll read it on the show.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in.
2 people are saying don't make it too scary.
Okay, move on.
We'll make sure. We'll pre-screen it. Make sure it's not too scary. All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks, folks.